What's up, everyone? Kane here, uh, captain of the Days Pirates, with a couple more games from this week of league play at locals. Got an even better setup. They let me set up at their feature match that they use for other games and other events. So we got rid of the glare. So the gameplay is much better. Unfortunately, my phone died during the third game, so we only have two games today. I did have a bye round one, and then I went Lucci Law Lucci. So we'll talk a little bit more about how that finished up. And then from last week, the exact same list, except I did swap one slow beam sword for one queen, just kind of toying with it. That may or may not come up in this video today. But excited. I mean, the meta's kind of tough. I still am all in on this leader. I'm signed up for 10 treasure cups right now. So looking to bring home some Peronas and bring some respect to RP Luffy in '07. But I'm very excited to see this ban announcement that's coming because, well, quite frankly, I'm sick of Gecko, and Law is going to be tough in '08. If Law's still around, I might have to play it in '08. Um, Probably not, but very tempting. So jumping right in here, Lucci against someone that's this guy is a very good player, former Saka main. He had topped a regional on Sakazuki previously, or top 64, I believe, and some other things as well. So he's been on Lucci now. I won the die roll. I'm going second, and we both mulliganed here. So here, I'm going second because I just want to be able to play my on plays and go. Um, so I don't know. I still kind of keep going back and forth on whether or not I want to go first or second here. Um, but because that Zoro Juro, when I play it on two, if it gets checked, is a little bit tough. I had no searcher here after the mulligan. Sorry, cycling. 6,000 into leader. I'm a little bit bricked up here. I could give him a 2K, but I kind of want to see another card, and I get the bond play here, so pretty big that I did actually take that to be able to have a play on this next turn, because his hand was a little bit clunky. It's a little bit tough off a mulligan to have a hand when you got like no early action at all, not even a searcher, to feel a little bit better. But getting that Mr. 2 off the life, got to ramp and go. Now I have a kid next. I have two kids in hand, miss all Sunday, so a lot of bricks, but he doesn't necessarily know that. This game has a pretty quick finish that I want to talk about quite a bit because realizing after the fact, and we actually talked through it some more after, kind of where it really ended on that. So it was a pretty big finish. But yeah, this guy's a very methodical player. Was very good on Sokka, and he's been killed on Sokka by my 3-cost counter event that KOs. So he mentions throughout here a couple times being kind of afraid or concerned about that. So yeah, kind of funny that comes up. Give him the Sanji now. You know, if I would have been really mad if I didn't give him that, if I gave him that Sanji last turn, then I take a life now and I have Mr. 2. So that was pretty perfect. So real quick here, he plays a Khalifa out, plays out a 2K, and you may notice he trashed two Lucci's there. So two bricks out of his hand off of that Khalifa. A little bit surprising to see. I was a little bit surprised to see him get rid of both of those, but I was like, okay, well, he's got some KO power or at least a Gecko or something. So, kid on turn 3 with my 7 down turn. 7K leader, go in. Here I got my pitch counter. I got a lot of utility once I have Don up, but I am tapped out on this turn. So next turn I'll have a lot of flexibility in my counter and play. But here I either have to jet Gatling or take. And from his perspective, it's does he even want to swing 7K into me when he's trying to get rid of this kid? So another -3 on the kid. This brick he's about to play here is real tough in this matchup. I feel like when they hit this brook and are able to check my play here, and then they have that 6K body, this is where this matchup tends to get a little bit sticky, especially if they've had a Lucci on board already. Now we're up to 9. I'd really love to be playing a kid and swinging with a kid this turn, but I think I'm also kind of debating if I want to cycle the Miss All Sunday this turn and leave myself a little bit more vulnerable. I drew the Miss All Sunday this turn, so that's especially why I'm thinking about that. If I was at 10 down here, I honestly wouldn't even be that mad about it. I'd just cycle both of them, make 2 bodies, and kind of go with it. But yeah, 2 Miss All Sundays in hand here is a little bit frustrating. After this event, and I'll talk about it before my next video, I did make some changes to the list. The first I made was I went down in my counter event, the 3-cost counter event, and -1 Miss All Sunday, and then added a Newgate and a Dragon. But actually, I already made some changes to that for some Enel and some of the events that are coming up. With the treasure cups and things like that, I'm not going to get to the top of those, the store treasure cups, without seeing at least one Enel, I think. So there is some other utility that I just haven't been playing because I don't see it in this meta. But I have seen it in another shop, and it's just one of those things where I will see it at every big event I go to. I know I will. And the utility that I add there is good for other matchups too. So we'll talk about that next week. But right now, this is just a quick game, couple games against some decks that maybe in 08 will be changed. Maybe no Gecko or limited Gecko. I'm still voting for 2 Geckos, but we'll see. And if Law might just be removed, we'll see. So then he checks his 7 here. I'm debating taking it. And I Jet Gatling to get out of that 7. Realistically, maybe I should have just taken that and been okay with it to hold that Jet Gatling for next turn. And maybe cycle a Miss All Sunday or 2 Miss All Sundays next turn. And actually, I do remember I get a 9 beard off this life, and that would have actually been massive. So we'll talk about that when I do draw it, but watch this next couple turns because yeah, I did kind of go through this, and the fact that I countered out there like that actually massively punished me in one way. But even despite that, I should have had a winning line, which I guess I just spoiled. I do end up losing this match, answering both kids in a row while developing a board is a little tough. He did Khalifa again there and cycle a couple cards out of his hand. So now I'm trying to figure out, what do I got to worry about with Gecko? Wondering if he might be trying to set up for like a Rebecca Sabo next turn. It's already had the Gear 5 in hand. I end up having to cycle a Miss All Sunday here because I don't really have much else action. Another Robin. That's okay, I guess. At least it's a counter. Then we leave up down for our counter and send in 8. Yeah, this is where he mentions that 3-cost counter. So takes this one, goes down to 1, and pass. So now he's at 10 down, and believe it or not, he's going to play a Gecko because it's a Gecko. So that's where we'll see here when I do take a life, I believe. So I counter the first one, kind of show him a Robin to make him a little less worried about a Rebecca. Send another 6. This one, I'm really thinking about using the beam sword, but I end up taking it, and it's a Newgate. So this is what I'm saying. If I had taken that previous life last turn, I play a Newgate here with 1 down up. I'm not sure. Maybe he can still answer the new gate, but I'm swinging 8K still. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe he still just all-ins me, or things play out differently. But when I was kind of looking at this, I was thinking, had I taken that life, I play new gate, I'm 8K leader, swing in. It actually very likely doesn't kill me. I have one down up, counter. Um, but I don't know. If he pressures me, then maybe it is different. So maybe that wasn't quite as bad as I thought when I was looking at it before recording this. But that's definitely a decision point to think, right? Give up 2 cards for a 1K counter is kind of tough. But I did want to protect that life at that time. So yeah, he does Rebecca, picks up a Spandine, does the Lucci thing, and now we're here. And I'm debating if I'm just going all in. I think I just send it. I have to gear 5 for tempo here, at least to check board or do something. I do pop the Rebecca with the Robin. So I'm going to this next turn. He counters here. He has 7 cards in hand, and I need both these hits to hit land to win. So, in general, honestly, against a lot of Lucci matchups and a lot of these decks, generally they are rather bricked up, where you are able to kind of go all in on them. But what I've already highlighted throughout this game, and what just he played another one last turn, is he's been playing Khalifas through this entire game. So he's been cycling cards, and he's been getting rid of those bricks. And I should know that he has a ton of counter here. So I go one down onto my leader, swing 7K. He has to counter out of that. I swing 12K into life with gear 5. And then I leave open a radical beam and a slow beam sword. And especially here because he's afraid of my 3-cost KO counter, he would swing with a brick or a Lucci with at most 7 because he doesn't want to get blown out by the KO. I 2K that with the beam sword and rest the Gecko. Then I have a rad beam for another attacker, and he has no idea what's in my hand. I have a 1K in hand as well. I live through that turn almost every single time, and then I crack back and win. So this was where I actually just blundered because I just said force him to have it, and spoiler alert, he does end up having it here. It's pretty tough. As I'm saying 7. Usually there's some bricks in there, a couple Luccis, maybe another Gecko. Um, but yeah, takes 10, 12. And the way he starts dropping this, a lot of people will kind of do this when they're losing. So I kind of thought he didn't have enough, and I was like, okay, I got there, cool. And the pitch counter for 6 cards out of hand got there. It was absolutely brutal. Rested out, I'm just cooked. Um, but yeah, if I had just played a tiny bit more defensively there, I basically locked this up. Yeah. Yeah, so good game. Gecko is brutal, but I'm wondering or expecting that to be changed in some way. This ban announcement this week, I think everyone is. But very excited to see what happens there. But I have a lot of tools to get through it, and at the end of the day, I lost that game. I can't blame it on Gecko. Oh, sorry there. I had to make a quick cut. But like I was saying, that matchup was not lost by the fact that Gecko's broken or absolutely unreasonable. That was a misplay by myself. I 100% could have and should have won that game, and that's why we're doing this. But that being said, I am looking forward to a shakeup that's going to be coming into this week with maybe less Geckos around. So we'll see. But all right, jumping into next matchup was a Law, which is tough. But we are not facing the '08 monstrosity that everyone is terrified of seeing here. But I am still definitely a very much of a high roll, low roll matchup on both sides. We can both make it feel miserable for the other person very easily. So let's see how it plays out. In this one, I believe I won the roll. I did, and I went second. And then we both kept our first hand.
I will keep this as well. This? Yeah. KaizokoCards.com. I guess just
Oh, yeah, he asked about my altar. I should link them in the chat in probably the comments or something because I do love my alt leader, and I'm actually have a new one on the lead or on the way. To actually a newer one that he had commissioned or someone had commissioned. So, get a Nami. Gets me, my only option was a Jet Gatling, another Nami. Should be feeling pretty alright this matchup. So in this matchup, it's really important to not let them take that first life off you too early, because it becomes as soon as they take that life off you, you have to be ready to race Kid Killers. Just the nature of it. Especially the other thing that's made this matchup a lot harder is this addition of the Sanji 2K and how exploitable it is by Law's leader effect, even further so by my ramping, even more so. But yeah, he plays out the raise max, has it on board, swings in 8K. I'm very much debating giving him Sanji and Zoro to get out of this here because I know Zoro's going to get bottomed by raise max 100%. Why wouldn't he? Or by raise max and law effect. But that being said, I want to make him do it. So now I'm debating which of my bricks is which, and I do decide on the dragon over the Newgate because Newgate gives me a lot of reach in this matchup. Send in 6. So we drew another Nami, so we're going to play another Nami. Get a Robin off that, which is great for any Bon Clays we see. I am going up to 3 Robins as well. That card just felt very good into a lot of matchups, and especially paired with Ein. So I am on 3 Robins now as well. We'll talk some more about that before next week's matches. Here he's debating. I mean, I think pretty clearly he's going to bottom Zoro. Whether he uses Raise Max or something else, I don't know if he has something else in hand, but Bon Clay, okay, great. I'm glad I have the Robin for that. That's nice. Seven, give him a 2K. I'm glad that I also kept that. I guess it would have been, same or different. I guess maybe there is validity to just not even allowing him to do that, but also seeing the raise max being used on a Zoro Juro feels pretty good. So I don't know. We got Law Blocker. We end up just going a little bit more aggressive here with our Don and popping the Bon Clay because there's not really much else to do. I like this play in general. So we go. I'm debating whether I want to do 5 and 7 or 6 and 6 basically. We took the first 6. Give him another 6. I was pretty surprised to see him give up a kid there. So now he's back up to 5. Shariah is very good in this matchup. I actually realized after the fact that there was a mistake made with the Shariah. I don't know, I announced it incorrectly, and I guess he didn't notice, or I'll mention it when it comes up. But so Miss All Sunday lets him draw a card. Just catch him back up and down just a little bit. Like he said, you're seeing Newgate. Not really much else to do. I think I was debating a little bit, but oh, actually, that was what I was deciding. Was I wanted to do I want to swing after Newgate, and I swing before Newgate here because then he doesn't know what I'm gonna do. And with this, if I just play Newgate, I'm rested out. I swing 8K. He blocks with Shariah, gives me a 1K. That's free. But here now I have the potential to make him think. Does he want to block and make Soraya 6K and vulnerable here, or does he want to take give me a 2K worth of counter or take? So that was what I was. Then I swing first right now. Then he does 2K, which is great, and then I Newgate. Maybe he would have just given me the Sanji no matter what, but that's kind of an incremental thing that could really have been a difference maker.
Three. Meters, what, 8K now? Yeah. Let's go.
So here I got two 1Ks available. He swings 8K in with Shariah. So one thing with Shariah is his effect is on attack or once per turn, but the buff lasts until his next turn. So he's an 8K through my entire next turn. And I go to swing into it and declare it as a 4K, and I realize now after watching it that it should have been an 8K, but neither of us caught it. It is what it is. Give him 1K, makes sense. Swings 8.
8K at least. And you have 6 cards in hand?
He does a pretty good job attacking my hand here. A pretty aggressive line into the Newgate. Some players may kind of take that a little bit more passively. Another brick in life doesn't feel great at this point. Or a brick in life, maybe again I'm foreshadowing here. But I get 9, okay, that's something. And then now here he gets to use his leader effect to play out a Sanji blocker. And that Sanji blocker is just brutal. I'm very surprised that they ruled that in Law's favor, but again, just another one of the cards that he makes feel broken that no other leader makes feel broken, and why I think he might just have to go in the long run. And of course, I top deck a brick here, so I'm like, okay, well, this is not looking great. Um, do I try and iron and pop something? I do. Um, but I was kind of debating um, going for like a blocker and a Missile Sunday to cycle potentially. Um, but yeah, I swing into Shariah here and I say 6K and 6K into 4K and he lets it go. So that's on both of us, I guess. Um, I mean, if I play Missile Sunday into Law and I do draw something useful or another counter, that's potential, but I don't know. The way this next turn plays out is just like, okay. um, I mean, it's well played by him, the sequencing that he took. I mean, it was effective. It's basically one of the few ways he could have got there. Had I got more counter, I don't know, like video's lagging just a little bit. Keep this going. Um, okay, it froze completely there for a second. Um, here, he swings 6K, 6K, 6K. I have my one law to give him. I take the next one. I get a Newgate as my second life. Another 6K here. I kind of know that a. Uh,
6K.
why is my video clogging up here? I'll just wrap this up kind of quickly here, guys. If I can get this show the final boards. Um, he ends up going 6K, 6K. I get a leader. I get a brick after counting the first one. He swings another 6K. I get another brick. He plays a Kid Killer for 4 Don, and swings in with that. And the rat does gets pulled out there, and then he has a second Kid Killer off leader effect and swings in for 8,000 and wins the game off of the second Kid Killer. Pretty brutal in my opinion. I think that leader, again, red and purple needs the support. Like it's not good colors really outside of him. And I think my leader is pretty good, but I'm still trying to convince others of that. So very excited for the ban announcement this week. And maybe a very happy '08 format, but I'm trying to get some results in this format, and I'm sticking with you, boy. Black Yellow Luffy is tempting, but I'm not going to do it. We're sticking with them. So looking forward to it. See you guys next time.